Runit Island is one of the 40 islands of the Inuitak Atoll of the Marshall Islands in the Pacific Ocean. The island is the site of a radioactive waste repository left by the United States after it conducted a series of nuclear tests on Inuitak Atoll between 1946 and 1958. There are ongoing concerns about deterioration of the waste site and a potential radioactive spill. Construction. The Runit Dome, also called Cactus Dome or locally the Tomb, is a 115 meter, 46 centimeter thick dome of concrete at sea level, encapsulating an estimated 73,000 meters of radioactive debris, including some plutonium 239. The debris stems from nuclear tests conducted in the Inuitak Atoll by the United States between 1946 and 1958. From 1977 to 1980, loose waste and topsoil from 6 different islands in the Inuitak Atoll was transported to the site and mixed with concrete to seal the nuclear blast crater created by the cactus test. 4,000 U.S. servicemen were involved in the cleanup from this test, and it took 3 years to complete. The waste-filled crater was finally entombed in concrete. Erosion. In 1982, a U.S. government task force raised a concern about a probable breach if a severe typhoon were to hit the island. In 2013, a report by the U.S. Department of Energy found that the concrete dome has weathered with minor cracking of the structure. However, the soil around the dome is found to be more contaminated than its contents, so a breach could not increase the radiation levels by any means. Because the cleaning operation in the 1970s only removed an estimated 0.8% of the total transuranic waste in the Inuitak Atoll, the soil and the lagoon water surrounding the structure now contain a higher level of radioactivity than the debris of the dome itself. So even in the event of a total collapse, the radiation dose delivered to the local resident population or marine environment should not change significantly. Concern primarily lies in the rapid tidal response to the height of the water beneath the debris pile, with the potential for contamination of the groundwater supply with radionuclides. One particular concern is that in order to save costs, the original plan to line the porous bottom crater with concrete was abandoned. Since the bottom of the crater consists of permeable soil, there is seawater inside the dome. However, as the Department of Energy report stated, the released radionuclides will be very rapidly diluted and should not cause any elevated radioactive risk for the marine environment. Compared to what is already experienced, leaking and breaching of the dome could, however, disperse plutonium, a radioactive element that is also a toxic heavy metal. An investigative report by the Los Angeles Times in November 2019 originated fears of the dome cracking and releasing radioactive material into the soil and surrounding water. The DOE was directed by Congress to assess the condition of the structure and develop a repair plan during the first half of 2020. The report was published in June 2020. In June 2020, the U.S. Department of Energy released a report stating that the dome is in no immediate danger of collapse or breach, and that the radioactive material within is not expected to have any measurable adverse effect on the surrounding environment for the next 20 years. Illness of Army personnel. Some of the U.S. Army personnel who participated in the dome construction and transport of radioactive materials claim that illness has developed years later years later are a result of having been exposed without protection. Some of them have died of cancer and others have become sick. The U.S. government denies that there is any connection between the work on the island and the health problems and has so far refused to offer any compensation for the illnesses associated with the construction of the Runit Dome.